essential skill in 7 essential skills to build your career. We're going to focus on number 5, boosting communication and interpersonal effectiveness. This section consists of 4 lessons. CO01, getting on the same page, communication ground rules. CO02, tuning in for better listening. CO03, navigating employee conflicts for optimal results. And CO04, boosting communication by managing up and across. This lesson is called Navigating Employee Conflicts for Optimal Results, Tips for Resolving Conflicts. Our agenda in this module has 2 topics, the conflict resolution continuum and building consensus. The conflict resolution continuum, ways to resolve conflicts from passive to aggressive approaches. When working with a team, it is important to recognize that not all disagreement is undesirable. Conflict allows the team to debate certain issues and discuss advantages and disadvantages. And criticism is a valuable tool for learning a contrasting point of view. Team members should not be afraid to voice their opinions and should recognize the value of differing opinions and take steps in order to assure that everyone feels comfortable on the team. However, if disagreement gets out of hand, steps must be taken to resolve the conflict. There are 5 ways to handle conflict, depending on how much power is asserted, going from passive to aggressive. First, we have avoiding. This style of conflict management is rarely successful, except when used to sidetrack an irrelevant issue that becomes distracting to the team. The issue should be handled as a separate issue when the parties are in conflict and they're away from the rest of the team. Examples of avoiding behaviors are ignoring, avoiding, sweeping the problem under the rug, but of course the problem just festers and gets worse if unresolved. However, short term, it's good to sometimes walk away from a problem and avoid it, hoping that you can come together at some point and resolve the issue appropriately. The second approach is accommodating by justifying or just accepting the conflict. People who use this technique are in denial that a problem exists and tend to justify or explain away the problem. Their major objective is to smooth over any waves that exist with the team. In the middle is compromising, and this style of conflict management attempts to listen to all viewpoints and come up with a third solution that is a composite of all sides. The compromising type of conflict management is successful for overcoming short-term conflict, but long-term results are generally better handled with a more definitive approach. In compromising, you have to give in something or give up something, and sometimes the person who has to acquiesce goes away being angry and resentful. Where you want to try to work is in a collaborative approach. With collaboration, you're going to derive a mutually beneficial solution. This is an assertive approach that involves the proactive resolution of any situation that exists. You have to listen to each viewpoint and determine the best solution on an objective basis, and try to listen to other people's viewpoints using creative problem-solving tools, being careful not to assert opinions over the others. If you're overly assertive, that approach is called forcing. It's an aggressive approach that involves making authoritative decisions without consulting with the other team members. It's goal-oriented and decisive. However, long-term, you're going to create resentment if this is the only way that you resolve issues. This technique demonstrates that the leader has very little time to spend debating the validity of other people's opinions and makes decisions based on what they believe is right, as opposed to a consensus decision. Generally speaking, you want to try to collaborate and be assertive, but not push the envelope and be seen as being overly aggressive. You also don't want to be passive or passive-aggressive in your conflict resolution. Those are inappropriate and often result in resentment, anger, or uncooperative team members. It's important that conflict be addressed and that employees collaborate together. It's not easy to do, since many employees naturally are more passive, but problems that are left unattended tend to ruminate and get worse. Therefore, it's important to be assertive and apply the collaboration approach. How to collaborate? First of all, there are steps that you should take and questions that you should ask along the way to ensure that the other person that you're collaborating with is engaged in the conversation. Uncover hidden agendas. You won't know where the person's coming from unless you ask them. A lot of times people are hesitant to offer their suggestions about how the problem should be resolved. But you won't know what their perspectives are unless you ask them directly. So ask questions like, what are your objectives or issues? What are you hoping to achieve? This way you'll understand where the other party is coming from and can ensure that your solution addresses those issues. In your questions, look for common ground. Ask what is important to everyone. We all want the same thing, and what are those objectives? This is important in terms of getting everyone on the same page to realize that the problem is being resolved to everyone's benefit. The next step is to brainstorm possible solutions and ask questions like, what can we do to resolve this issue? Or say something like, here's an idea I have, what do you think will work? Or what suggestions do you have? It's important to not say, here's what I think we should do, because the other person might have their own ideas about an appropriate approach. Use appropriate problem-solving tools to get to the bottom of the situation and generate a lot of ideas on what could work to resolve this issue. At this point, don't use judgment and try to generate as many ideas as possible. And remember to build on the ideas of others. Someone's idea may result in an idea that no one had considered before. This is where creative problem solving comes into play. Once you have uncovered all the possible ideas that would resolve this issue, you want to systematically evaluate the ideas objectively and then select the best idea. Ask questions. Is this the best solution? And what will work for everyone, to make sure that everyone is engaged in the process and committed to the outcome. And then get agreement on the details. Ask, are we committed to this solution? And you probably want to follow up with an email to confirm the details of what was decided. Here are some tips for effective collaboration. Focus on the issue, not the person. Don't get into an interpersonal conflict with a person, but try to focus on what's truly important and make some decisions for moving forward. Deal with one issue at a time. Don't try to pack multiple issues into your conversation. It just makes things more complicated. Don't be in a hurry. Have the patience to talk it through. And also, don't justify what you want and don't ask the other person to justify what they want. Focus on what each of you wants and what is standing in the way of an agreement. This way, your collaboration will be more fruitful. There are two ways that you can become involved in conflicts. Either the conflict comes to you or you initiate the conflict. In either case, you should be aware of your behavior in reacting to these situations and accordingly use good creative problem-solving techniques to resolve the issue. When you initiate a conversation about a conflict you have, say what you want and what you feel. Don't place blame on anyone. Always maintain your composure and don't let your emotions get out of hand. The more emotional, the less logical you'll be thinking. Describe the problem precisely as you see it. Be factual and provide evidence. And ask questions and listen to their response. There may be good reasons as to why the situation exists. Try to understand them before you go any further. Paraphrase their point of view and ask them to participate with you to solve the problem using creative problem-solving techniques and brainstorming, and then solve the problem together. And then when a coworker angrily comes to you with a problem, make sure it's a good time for both of you. You may want to put off your conversation until a time where everything is more calm. But if you're ready, validate their concerns, avoid arguments, and try to understand what is creating their anger. Discuss what they specifically want. Demonstrate your ability to listen effectively. And see if they are listening. Ask for feedback and make sure they hear your perspective. Negotiate and give up a minor point or two if necessary, but agree only to what you can deliver, and don't be put on the spot to create an instant solution. If you just can't get agreement, don't force consensus. Remain objective and non-emotional. Keep the logic high. Respect the other person's opinion and surface their resistance, Validate their viewpoint, but ask for facts, examples, and behaviors to better understand their objections. State clearly what you want and why the other person should care. And try again to brainstorm and solve the problem. Ask questions like, what would it take for you to feel more committed to this? Keep the door open to further discussion, and summarize and set a follow-up meeting if necessary. In summary, remember the conflict resolution continuum. You want to be assertive, but not aggressive. Work through each person's issues and work together to resolve issues that arise in the workplace. Collaboration takes time, but creates the best decisions. Thank you. This has been a presentation of Eye-to-Eye Workplace, Resolving Conflicts and Collaborating. Congratulations! You just completed one of more than 30 modules from Eye-to-Eye Workplace. These modules are provided on YouTube for your benefit to preview the extensive training content of our management training modules. After 4 modules, you can take a multiple-choice online 10-question test based on the content of 4 of the videos on YouTube. There are tests available for team leadership, interviewing and hiring, talent management, performance management, communication, efficiency, and customer service. You'll earn a certificate of completion. For only $9.99, you can document your management success. Go to eye-to-eyeworkplace.com/store, pay $9.99 for each module, and you'll get a link to the certification test. For more high-impact, low-cost training, follow Eye-to-Eye Workplace on LinkedIn and YouTube. Or visit our website at www.eye-to-eyeworkplace.com. Thank you.